Shadow Arcanine fires off the Scorching Sands, rocking Excadrill deep into the red, the opponent unable to make a move, and we get the full Snarl farm down. Out comes Gyarados, and if the opponent don't know about that wild charge coverage, they're about to find out. Welcome back to the channel. Buckle up, because today is going to be one hell of a ride. Today we have some absolute insanity from a trainer who is very quickly becoming one of my favourite battlers, Turbo T612. Once again, he is flexing his incredible Shadow roster in the Master League Premier Cup. Yes, I'm aware this cup is no longer here. However, these battles need to be seen. We have got a double fire strategy with a maxed out Shadow Arcanine and a Shadow Typhlosion. Need I say any more? Without any further ado, let's get into the battle. Heading into battle number one, we lead Shadow Gyarados into Togekiss. Not fantastic, as our Dragon Breaths are double resisted, but we've got double fire in the back. We save switch into Arcanine, the opponent builds up energy and send out Gyarados. And if this Gyarados don't know about that wild charge coverage, they're about to find out. The opponent shows no respect. Get that Gyarados out of here. There's the first big boom of many to come. Back out comes Togekiss, and again there is no baiting. Does the opponent respect the damage? Unfortunately they do. However, we've not only got switch, but we've obtained shield advantage. Turbo sends out Typhlosion. We see the instant shield deployed, blocking up the incoming ancient power. Turbo then fires off one Incinerate and the Thunder Punch for optimal fast move timing, only giving away one free turn. Thunder Punch goes unshielded. The opponent not wanting to get farmed down, send out Excadrill. We fire off one Incinerate and send out Gyarados. Gyarados can easily tank one non-stab Rock Slide. Shadow Gyarados is then going to be able to outpace to the Aqua Tail, and the opponent finds himself in a very problematic spot. Do they want to shield the Aqua Tail, or do they want to save the shield for Typhlosion? The opponent chooses to invest that Protect Shield. The opponent heavily over farms, but that is certainly going to be Incinerate farm down range. Rock Slide does secure the knockout. We send back out Typhlosion. Typhlosion going to be shielding up whatever the opponent throws. Drill Run, Rock Slide either would be lethal, but it's not going to matter. Typhlosion gets the Incinerate farm down, leaves with the Blast Burn, but why not throw the Thunder Punch? And that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. And I'm sure you can see why Turbo is very quickly becoming one of my favourite battlers. Heading into the next battle, well, that's a yikes lead if I ever did see one. We see the save switch into Arcanine. The opponent again responds with Gyarados. Can we go 2 for 2 on getting the booms? Does the opponent respect the damage? Wild charge! Oh, goes shielded. However, we're able to make the second. Does the opponent go down 2 Protect Shields? They do not. Another huge boom. What is going on? My commentary is already in shambles, but Turbo able to realign his Pokemon. Interestingly, this Magnezone is running Spark. Spark has been nerfed, however, it does give you somewhat more flexibility, as 4-turn moves make it quite difficult to switch in and out. Turbo correctly shields up the Wild Charge, the Incinerate, knocks him out, and out comes Togekiss, and the opponent is going to concede the match, and another very, very quick game. Heading into the next battle. We go 3 for 3 on lost leads, but undeterred, Turbo save switches into Arcanine. Tell me they do not send out another Gyarados. This opponent opts to stay in, so Turbo says, fuck it, we'll YOLO the Wild Charge at this flyer instead. Wild Charge forces the Protect Shield. Despite Wild Charge debuffing our own defense, due to fire resisting fairy, we would be able to shield up and make 2 further wild charges. As if this video wasn't already crazy enough, the opponent sends out Slacking. What the hell is this ape doing on my screen? Slacking. I have never seen this in Go Battle League, and that's probably because its fast move does 0 damage. However, it is pretty bulky. They're able to tank both a Scorching Sand and a Wild Charge. So evidently, it's a pretty good damage sponge. Turbo sends out Typhlosion. Typhlosion gets the Incinerate farm down, and the opponent opts to send back out Togekiss. Trainer, how weak are you to fire? Thunder Punch forces the protection. The opponent then send up Mamoswine, sacrificing it to the Pokegods. You know what time it is. Hi Mamoswine. Bye Mamoswine. Back out comes Togekiss. Turbo with a Protect Shield, 2 hard behind, sitting in the driver's seat. Typhlosion reach the next Blast Burn, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we see the Gyarados mirror. Both running Dragon Breath, I guess with double fire in the back. We're happy to stay in. Turbo looks to fire off the Crunch, but loses CMP. Turbo respects the Crunch from the opponent, then returns fire with his own. Is the opponent willing to go down an early Protect Shield as well? Yes, they are. However, we get the defense drop. Turbo is going to have to settle for an Aqua Tail, knowing he loses CMP. Turbo fires off the Aqua Tail just before the opponent reaches the crunch. Aqua Tail, even with a lowered defense, isn't lethal. However, this isn't a bad spot to be in, as we can get either a free Snarl or a free Incinerate. Turbo opts to send out Typhlosion, getting the Incinerate running start. The opponent sends out Chandelure, and we see the battle of the fire types. Turbo fires off the Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch actually does some pretty good damage because Chandelure cannot tank a hit for shit. We then see the pivot into Arcanine. The opponent goes for the Flame Charge bait. I have no idea why, to be honest. Why would you not just Shadow Ball? However, it is what it is. Turbo, though, fires off the Scorching Sand. Scorching Sand secures the knockout, and out comes Excadrill. The opponent opts to throw a charge move, and I think that's a mistake. I personally would have shielded, looked to Mud Shot, farm down, and then just double Rock Slide Typhlosion. However, the opponent makes another mistake, throwing on alignment, gifting Turbo the dub. Turbo is going to be able to shield up the Drill Run, Incinerate, farm down, and take that game. So, of course, if you are using a 2-turn move into a 5-turn move, ideally you want to throw 2 quick moves, 7 or 4, if you really need to get the move off. In the next battle, we see Goodra in the lead. The opponent opts to build up energy, then send out Annihilate. We fire off the Aqua Tail. Turbo happy to stay in. This is only a Night Slash, so Gyarados might be squishy, but this is an easy tank. Turbo opting to get himself as low as possible and farm up towards the back-to-back Aqua Tails. The first Aqua Tail forces the Protect Shield. We then bank some energy and save switch into Arcanine. Arcanine, gets hit in the face with a Shadow Ball, which does absurd damage. Arcanine, not the bulkiest, however, able to reach the Wild Charge, and Wild Charge does secure the knockout. Back out comes Goodra. Goodra, able to get the Dragon Breath farm down, and we send out Typhlosion. Typhlosion had a 2-to-1 shield advantage, however, we've already given up one, and I imagine we're about to give up the other. And we are completely walled by this Goodra. Turbo continuing to farms up to the double Blast Burn. Out comes Scizor. Scizor absolutely about to get cooked. One shot vanquished. Back to its Pokeball. Back out comes Goodra. We fire off the Thunder Punch bait, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. Aqua Tail will be secure on the knockout. Gyarados, can you reach a crunch, buddy? No, heartbreakingly, we cannot. And the opponent picks up the dub, and that is going to cost us a 5-0 set. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle. Turbo T612 leads his Shadow Gyarados into the regular variant of Gyarados. Last time we lost CMP. I shoutcast on my phone and the screen super small, so I'm unsure if we've got a higher CP than the opponent, but this time we're able to win CMP. Crunch goes unshielded. Turbo matches the opponent's decision, opting not to shield. We also tank the crunch to the face. Turbo needs to just reach the Aqua Tail, once again winning CMP. This will either force shield or win us lead. The opponent opts to let Gyarados go down, and we see Turbo spamming the switch, sending out Arcanine, and out comes Excadrill. Turbo deciding just to completely sack Arcanine. Arcanine made a very brief cameo appearance, getting a well-deserved rest after all the carnage it's caused in this video. Turbo putting all his hopes and dreams on the back of Typhlosion. Again, the opponent throws it. Super poor timing. If you are a player looking to rank up and go Battle League, one of the most important things you need to get your head around is fast move timing. So 2-turn into 5-turn, as I've said previously, throw 2 quick moves or 7, or you can throw 4, which is slightly suboptimal, but still a lot better than spamming your move on alignment. The opponent's got a double steel backline, so Typhlosion very much sitting in the driver's seat. Typhlosion able to get the full Incinerate farm down leave with the Blast Burn, and Typhlosion will be sweeping this backline. GG's, and thanks for playing. Double fire beats double steel. Who would have thought, eh? Heading into the next battle. We lead Shadow Gyarados into Metagross. The entire team does very well into Metagross. Turbo happy to stay in and look to go straight for a crunch to either force us an early shield advantage or do big damage. Crunch forces the Protect Shield. Turbo then makes a very nice catch, catching the Meteor Mash onto Arcanine. We actually see Turbo choose to shield up the resisted Meteor Mash. We've seen throughout this video that Arcanine is insanely glassy, so that would have done a lot of damage, and that proves to be a very clever play as the opponent sends out Gyarados. We're in the 1-to-1 shield, so Turbo will be getting that one-hit KO. If the opponent chooses to shield this first, which they do, the second will be knocking out. Hi Gyarados, bye Gyarados. Arcanine kills another poor defenseless Gyarados. Get that Gyarados out of here. Turbo can now realign, however the issue is Typhlosion also won't appreciate a Meteor Mash, or of course certainly not an Earthquake. It looks like the game gives us 1 turn bring in. The opponent only threw 5 bullet punches, we threw 2 incinerates, looked to make a catch, however game said no. We all know game's bad. Fuck this game, and we're going to move swiftly on. Turbo finds himself in the Gyarados mirror match. However, if this was a game of tennis, it would be advantage to Turbo due to the fact we're hitting for neutral with the Dragon Breaths and the opponent is hitting for resisted with their Waterfalls. The opponent invests an early Protect Shield Turbo, tanks the crunch, the opponent then settles for an Aqua Tail. We're going to see Turbo look to make a play at winning lead. We shield up the incoming Aqua Tail Turbo, then over farms before firing off the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail from this range will be securing the knockout. Gyarados does leave low. The opponent sends out Metagross, getting a running start, but my god, is it Typhlosion time? Out comes Typhlosion, absolutely cooking Metagross. Turbo invests the Protect Shield. The opponent fires off the Meteor Mash bait, but no bait. We'll be saving this opponent's fate. Typhlosion able to get the full Incinerate farm down. Out comes Skeledirge. Turbo full sends the Blast Burn. Blast Burn forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. Turbo then farms up. Fires off the next Blast Burn on the CMP type. Blast Burn is resisted, but my god, does it not look like it? Getting the opponent below half health. The opponent is going to need to Shadow Ball to secure the knockout. They fire off the Disarming Voice. Turbo not wanting to get farmed down, pivots out into Arcanine. Can Arcanine tank a Shadow Ball to the face? Ooh, we just about hang on. Turbo has both charge moves banked. We opt to throw the Wild Charge and we take that game. Heading into the next battle. Turbo leads Shadow Gyarados into Annihilate. A nice lead due to our flying type and the counters are resisted. The opponent stays in. We fire off that Aqua Tail. Both moves hit for neutral. Aqua Tail is better DP, but Crunch does do more raw damage. We see Turbo put up a Protect Shield, respecting the potential Shadow Ball. The opponent not wanting to get farmed down, pivot out into Florges, and High Florges meet Typhlosion. Typhlosion, in theory, does wall this energy, although it certainly will not look like it Moonblast lands for big damage. Turbo farms up to 100 energy before unleashing the first Blast Burn. Blast Burn goes unshielded, cooking the poor plant. Although in fairness, I don't know why it isn't a grass type. It certainly looks like one. Out comes Chandelure. Typhlosion farms up, fires off the Thunder Punch, the first one, forces the Protect Shield. We fire off the next one. Surely the opponent doesn't 2-shield this. Thunder Punch does some very respectable chip damage, and we now find ourselves in the 1-to-1 shield. Turbo sends out Arcanine. The opponent pivots back out into Annihilate. We bank some energy, go for that wham bam combo play, serve up the Big Mac and the fries. Aqua Tail forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, and win con from here is pretty simple. Never shield Gyarados, save the shield for Arcanine, and we're good to go. The opponent fires off the Shadow Ball, get the counter farm down. We send out Arcanine, snarl farm down, Annihilate. Turbo gonna invest the Protector, shielding up the incoming Flame Charge bait, but no bait. We'll be saving this opponent's fate, as Scorching Sands is gonna be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle. We lead Shadow Gyarados into another Chandelure. I love Chandelure. I really want a Shadow one for ML. However, I've never obtained a decent IV. The opponent farms up some energy and then pivot out into a very annoying Charmer. We fire off the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail lands on Gardevoir. Some decent chip damage, and then we send out Typhlosion. Typhlosion looking for the full Incinerate farm down. Unfortunately, unable to get it before the opponent reaches the Triple Axel. Triple Axel, of course, is resisted, but all moves do quite a lot of damage to the squishy Typhlosion in this format. The opponent sends out Goodra. That Thunder Punch did absolutely nothing. This time, we're going to full send a Blast Burn again. It doesn't do all that much damage to Goodra because it is incredibly tick. In fairness, that Blast Burn chip damage was very much needed. Turbo sends out Gyarados, shields up the Thunder Punch. The opponent then pivots back out into Chandelure, and we respond with Arcanine. Turbo says, fuck it, have my Arcanine, but again, the opponent goes for the Flame Charge bait. At this stage, it's very much looking like the win con from Turbo is going to be the fast move beatdown. Turbo actually did look to fire off the Scorching Sands. I've got no idea why the game didn't let us get that off. Snarl is a 3-turn move, Incinerate, of course, is a 5-turn move, so we should always get that move off. Sometimes you even get it off if you're using a 4-turn move. If you get new mechanic, game is very bad, but Turbo, undeterred, manages to emerge victorious. And Turbo T612 again pulls off a very nice 4-on-1 set. Heading into set number 3, we see the Gyarados mirror, both running Dragon Breath. Turbo looks to fire off the Crunch immediately. The opponent doesn't play to CMP. Crunch forces a Protect Shield. Are we going to see Turbo look to match Protect Shields? Turbo does indeed invest that Protect Shield, blocking up the incoming Crunch. I've actually got my magnifying glass out and I can see Turbo does have the higher CP, so the opponent recognising they're going to lose CMP, set off with the Aqua Tail. Turbo withstands the damage, returns fire with the crunch, looking for that kill shot. The opponent actually is like, nah, I'm going to win lead at the cost of 2 shields. Turbo now sends in Arcanine. Arcanine not going to appreciate this Aqua Tail. Oh my god, it almost knocks us out. Holy crap, I've never seen Aqua Tail do so much damage. Turbo fires off the Wild Charge, securing the knockout, and we're going to put all our hopes and dreams on Typhlosion. Out comes Goodra. Turbo's like, no thank you, and we're going to concede the match. In the next battle, we see Excadrill in the lead. This little Steel Mole can hit the entire team for super effective, despite Gyarados hitting for resisted with a Dragon Breath. This is our best response, as we can tank one Rock Slide and the Mod Shots are double resisted. The opponent goes some chip and dip action, then send out Goodra. We fire off the crunch and then send out Arcanine. This Aqua Tail doesn't get the same type attack bonus, so it shouldn't hurt anywhere near as much as the Gyarados' one in the previous battle, although it still does huge damage. Turbo heavily overfarms before firing off the Scorching Sands. Scorching Sands forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. We send back out Gyarados. Oh man, this is looking so rough. Again, Typhlosion being tasked with 1v3 in the team. Out comes Typhlosion. Once again, we see an opponent throw a very suboptimal timing. Typhlosion needs all the help it can get in this situation, so we certainly are not complaining. We're going to see Turbo fire off the Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch, to my surprise, forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. I think we can just Incinerate farm down from here. We see Turbo shield up the Aqua Tail. We do indeed get the resisted Incinerate farm down. The opponent now sends out Florges. Oh, baby. Let's go, Typhlosion. Let's go, buddy. You can sweep. Blast Burn lands for huge damage. We then see Turbo fire off one further Incinerate and the Thunder Punch. If this Thunder Punch knocks out, we are cooking. Thunder Punch does secure the knockout. Back out comes Excadrill. We're able to outpace to the Blast Burn. Who was worried? Typhlosion picks up the entire sweep. What a game. Heading into the next battle, we see Shadow Gary into Togekiss. As always, we see the instant pivot into Arcanine. Unfortunately, we don't see a Gyarados save switch. However, we do see Excadrill, and Excadrill is going to instantly be putting up that Protect Shield, blocking up the incoming Scorching Sands. As the opponent gave us a huge energy lead, we're going to see Turbo look to make a play at switch advantage. We shield up the Drill Run. Once again, go for the Scorching Sands. This one goes unshielded, rocking Excadrill deep into the red. Arcanine able to get the Snarl farm down. Out comes Gyarados, and do they know? If the opponent don't know, they're about to find out. Wild Charge gets that one hit KO. Get that Gyarados out of here. We see the instant pivot into Typhlosion, looking to greet this very annoying Charmer. Thunder Punch actually goes unshielded. The opponent calls the bait, but no bait call will be saving this opponent's fate. We shield up the Ancient Power. We're going to be able to Incinerate farm down. The opponent recognises the game's over, and we take that game. Another beautiful win. We see some deja vu again. We're going to pivot into Arcanine. Another Gyarados switch in. Come on, one more boom. Does the opponent respect the damage? Wild Charge gets another boom. Oh man, we have absolutely lost it. We found another opponent that's fucked about and found out. Wild Charge, force to Protect Shield on the returning Togekiss, and we now get the option to realign. We send out Typhlosion. Typhlosion blocks up the incoming Ancient Power. The opponent continued to stay in again. Turbo throws it. Very disciplined timing. One Incinerate and the Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. Turbo then heavily overfarms before firing off the next Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch secures the knockout. The opponent's final Pokemon is Metagross. Oh, baby. We was about to cook it, but the opponent runs for the hills and concedes the match. In the next battle, we see the Angry Ape in the lead. A nice lead for us. The opponent opts to stay in and goes straight for either an Ice Punch or Night Slash. Turbo, actually to my surprise, chooses to invest an early Protect Shield. These Dragon Breaths tearing through Ape despite not getting same type attack bonus. That is the beauty of Shadow bonus from a Shadow Pokemon. We force Protect Shield with the Aqua Tail and then see a Savage Ice Punch catch onto Arcanine. Finally we see Arcanine tank a charge move and not take absurd damage. That is just how mid and move Ice Punch is. The opponent answers our Arcanine save switch with Goodra, and this is where you can see the difference in stat product. That Scorching Sands barely did anything. The opponent fires off the Aqua Tail, then get the Dragon Breath farm down. We send back out Gyarados. Turbo over farms before firing off the crunch, looking for that kill shot. Crunch forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. I have never seen a quicker no shield option in my life. Turbo, again, going to put it all on Typhlosion, looking for the 1v3 sweep. Of course, we're going to shield up the incoming Aqua Tail. Can we get the resisted Incinerate farm down? Turbo doesn't want to risk it, looks to fire off the Thunder Punch. The opponent actually catch it back onto Ape. However, that is pretty good for us, so the opponent is going to be unable to reach another charge move. Typhlosion leaves low, but absolutely loaded. The opponent's final Pokemon is Metagross. Metagross going to be straight in and straight out. We leave with the Thunder Punch, and Thunder Punch is going to be all she wrote with another beautiful 1v3 sweep. Typhlosion absolutely popping off. GG's, and thanks for playing. We've even got one bonus battle from Turbo running a level 50 Shadow Gallade, and we see a dreadful lead. Haxorus pretty bad for the entirety of our team. Turbo gonna block up the incoming break-in swipe and try his luck at a cheeky masturbating session. Turbo kills a poor defenseless cat, but does force the Protect Shield. That is going to allow him to outpace to the close combat. Is the opponent willing to go down both Protect Shields? Holy, that was huge damage. We then see a very nice catch pivoting into our safe switch of the big thick boy Snorlax. Snorlax able to snipe with a lick, and out comes Rhyperior. Most Snorlax in this format have been running Outrage for the Annihilate, and we're actually running Earthquake. Earthquake, of course, will hit Rhyperior for super effective, but Rhyperior has a huge stat product and very thick. Earthquake goes unshielded, and it didn't do all that much damage, if I'm honest. The opponent looking for that full Mud Slap farm down, which they get. Where does Turbo look to soak this energy? Turbo waits out his clock, sends out Magnezone. Is the opponent going to blind break-in swipe? They actually blind Rock Wrecker, and despite that being resisted, there's half our HP. The opponent sends out their own Magnezone. We're again going for the bait. Turbo, evidently the best master baiter in the world. Magnezone about to get one-shot vanquished. Back to its Pokeball. Close combat. Massive overkill. Get that Magnezone out of here. Rhyperior able to get the Mud Slap farm down. The opponent doesn't want and throw. We sneak the Volt Switch, shield up the break-in swipe, reach the Mirror Shot, and that is going to be all she wrote with Gallade, landing 2 huge booms to end the video. Huge shout out to Turbo for another absolutely incredible battle submission. I think that is one of my favourites I've ever shoutcast. That was so much fun. Of course, Master League Premier isn't here anymore, but then battles just had to be showcased. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button if you're new. Consider subscribing if you'd like your battles featured on my channel. A link to my battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching. And I'll see you all in the next one.